Alright, so we just finished up this pencil vid, and so I'm going to go ahead and ink this. So let's add a new layer and kick over to my pen. And I'm not really going to put too much thought into this. I mean, you should put thought into it, but I'm just going to kind of wing this because it was a fun sketch, testing out some new video capture software, and you know, just a way to sort of get the ball rolling with some of this stuff. So I think I mentioned in the pencil video that I tend to pencil rather loose when doing my own inks. So you'll see that as I ink this, there's actually a lot of little details and things that I'll end up filling in. Oh, you might be able to hear in the background, that's our new dog, Mr. Heisenberg, little 7-month-old guy. I say little, he's probably about 70 pounds now, and he's a giant crybaby, so every once in a while you probably hear him making his goofy little noises in the background. Okay. Now it's funny, while I'm penciling, I can talk a whole lot easier than when I'm inking. Inking to me is a much more thought-intensive process. It's actually not a process I'm that fond of, but it's kind of a, you know, it's necessary evil in comics. Let's clean that line up a little bit there. Okay. Of course, we're using Manga Studio here. If I wanted, I could go in and turn on some post correction, which helps with smoothing out some lines. It actually makes the lines feel a little more like ink as they're going down. So let's turn on a little bit of that. It's really funny. This is actually kind of nerve-wracking trying to ink while I know I'm capturing it. There's probably audio kicking through there too because of messages coming in over Facebook. It's really late at night right now, and Rebecca is over in Indianapolis. She should be actually on her way home. She was taking our son and his girlfriend to see the Foo Fighters. And she is just letting rip with the messages, it looks like. Okay. It's kind of funny. I'm just going to leave that in there. That way when she watches this video, she'll be like, why weren't you answering me? Oh, you were doing a video. Well, why didn't you turn that off, dumbass? Well, anyway. She'll be understanding. She's cool like that. Okay. I'm going to take a look at my paint bucket that I use to fill in. Right now set to multiple referrings. I want to turn that off so it just taps those completely. Okay. And you know, I know a lot of folks use Photoshop, but I will go on record any day that I think they've somehow done something in the way that they created Manga Studio that I think they call it their ink engine or whatever it is, and it feels so much more natural to me than Photoshop has ever felt. And that's crazy because I've been using Photoshop for a very, very long time. Okay, I want to turn up that post correction just a little bit more. That way my lines tend to be a little bit smoother. I'm also going to turn up my brush stroke. Okay. Times like this is when I'll probably tend to get a little quiet, but that's okay. Okay. Also want to turn on Make Corner Pointed. This has a neat effect. So if you watch, those little tips end up gaining a point to them, and I find that's really handy. A lot of little instances like eyelashes, and so it's not something you want on all the time because you'll end up getting weird little jaggies, but I find it really feels very similar to some of the effect that I can get out of a traditional brush. Okay. I really like using a traditional brush if I'm doing something, on board, on paper in the really real world. And I kind of have this back and forth scrubby motion that I picked up from watching, much better inkers than myself. But it's really neat the way you can scrub back and forth. And if you get a feel for it just right, you can get these little sharp lines, little tips and things. I do it with a brush, although I do also ink with a quill when I'm doing it on paper, all traditional. So really just depends. I mean, I find that the different tools, they have a different feel, and that translates well for different things. So like here, I'm going to keep that on, kind of play around with getting some. Okay, see, I don't really like that. And this is probably the biggest cheat, the biggest difference between digital and traditional is the ability to have an undo button. Now, I'm okay with that though, because traditionally on paper I would just use white out or some kind of white paint. So it's not really a cheat. It's not like we don't have ways of correcting things, on paper too. So there's that. Okay. Then even here, real similar to what I would do on paper, on on Bristol board, is I'll come through with white and just clean up little bits in some spots, maybe add a line or a highlight, and things like that. Okay. So now let's add some just some little shading lines in there. I like to keep her really moody. Go to a bigger brush. Okay. Then her kind of shabby little shirt is always fun because you can scribble and do all kinds of crazy textural things with it. I was always a big fan of Todd McFarlane's torn cloth techniques. They were just always so so chaotic, and they put so much on the page for you to look at, and that's something that I'll probably never outgrow. So I'm going to turn off keeping those corners pointed. There we go. Turn it back on for a second. Okay. Let's swing on around here. A little touch of cleavage in there, because why not? Okay. Oh, and there goes Mr. Heisenberg. I don't know if you can hear the puppy in his cries, but he is quite the vocal little dog. So, my little office buddies are the dogs. Oh, there he's crying. Mr. Heisenberg. That's my voice for the dog. He's Mr. Heisenberg. Guard dog. He guards the house. He walks the perimeter. He has a girlfriend. He loves her dearly. It's an unrequited love. If you can see the dog, it's much funnier when you can see him and hear my stupid voice. It's probably a sign that I work alone too much, that I sit and make voices for my dogs. I probably need more human interaction, but, whatever. So, there's that. Oh. Okay. Alright. Let's just come down through here and come back in with some white. There's Mr. Heisenberg crying again. He's such a crybaby. That little guy is always just. Okay. Let's zoom out and take a quick look at what we have so far. Not bad. Not bad. So I'm gonna clean some of this stuff up away from where I know the hair is gonna go. Alright. And here's where I start to get a little OCD on that hair. You gotta be careful. I gotta make sure that I pull back from it so I don't end up overdoing it and doing too much, making it too heavy. I want to turn that brush stroke down a little bit. Has a tendency to cause it to sort of your brush to just keep flowing after you let go, and that's not cool. So, now if I get this down to where we have a closed area, then we can use a wand tool, use a magic wand to make a selection, and we should be able. Oh, why is it not letting me close the gap? Interesting. Let's see here. From current layer, close gap. There we go. So now it'll select in that area, and I can come in and I'll do this more quickly. You can hear footsteps upstairs. Sounds like the guys are home, Rebecca and Killian. So I may end up being interrupted here in a moment, but that's okay. Good to have them back home. I always hate it when they go somewhere really far away, because, you know, I worry. And apparently so does Mr. Heisenberg, because he's bawling down here. Hold on, Heisey. Alright. There's that. And this could probably stand to be a little bit more refined, but for a, you know, just another sort of test video, getting the hang of this, it's not a big deal. Oh, Mr. Heisenberg, you want to say something, little buddy? No, no, you're just gonna bump the mic. Okay. Oh, squeak, squeak. I hear you squeaking, little guy. But I can't really stop at the moment. You just got to sit tight. What? What was that? What was that? Yeah. Mr. Heisenberg is telling me I need to hurry this up. So I'm gonna kick it into high gear here. It's funny, I can be drawing at a show and I'll get going super fast. Actually at home, you know, here in the studio, whenever I'm drawing, when it's just me and this is all I have to think about, I'll tend to get going really fast. But the more distractions there are, like, you know, like Mr. Heisenberg, or even just, you know, the trying to talk on video, I don't know, it's like it's distracting parts of my brain that need to be able to focus on doing the artwork. So I actually slow down quite a bit when I'm doing a vid capture, or, you know, that sort of thing. So, but still, this isn't too bad. I mean, I'm not sure what my timing is at on this so far, but I don't think it's too bad for something quick. So let's turn off the pencils there. We'll just tab out of all that stuff and zoom in. There you can see, you know, quick ink sketch of Apocalypse Girl. So anyway, thanks for watching, and you know, I hope you you know, have liked and shared and followed and all that groovy stuff on the Apocalypse Girl Facebook page. Also 6S1 Media, because that's who we are, 6S1 Media. And you know, just keep an eye out, because toward the end of next month we're going to be launching the Kickstarter to hopefully gain the funds that we need to make this Apocalypse Girl project into a real full-blown thing, where I'm really over a book. I'm about a book and a half into it in regular comic book size. I'm like, you know, 30-some pages in, almost 40. But the story is written to be about 100 pages, probably around 96 to 100 pages in the end. I know Mr. Heisenberg, he's still crying. So, but yeah, Apocalypse Girl is written to be 96 to 100 pages, and we don't want to. We've got some ideas for how this should be released that I think are a little different and really cool, but we just, you know, we need to make sure that we get people behind it. And you know, so anyway, yeah, that's kind of what's going on with this, and so I hope if you dig this, you like the artwork, you like some of what you may have read either on 6s1.com or on the Apocalypse Girl Facebook page. just hope you'll follow us and kind of share what you see, and help spread the word about the Kickstarter so we can make this thing real. So anyway, till next time, I'm Les, the guy behind Apocalypse Girl, and hope you enjoy the video. Thanks.